The Doomtown reloaded video from the Cardiff show event. Here we have the top 4 first round between Scott and Jimmy. They face each other early in the tournament and are playing obviously the same decks, but Scott has gone for a different starting posse this time, which is interesting. He's starting Wiley Jenks as opposed to Wendy, whereas Jimmy's gone for the exact same starting posse of Makayo, Jake, Milt, Angelica and Travis. Scott winning first low ball there. So the Wiley Jenks, I think, is obviously Destination Row, aiming to get a lot of bounties on people to get the control points. So obviously going to give Wiley a lot of bullets, make him a very good shooter. And we've seen Jimmy playing lots of Pintos and whatnot, which gets people back into shootouts. So Wendy's ability to send someone home, not overly useful in that instance. So both players moving people to Town Square. Wiley and Angelica. I don't think Wiley's going to call anyone out here. I mean, there's only one bounty on Angelica, so neither player playing any deeds. They're both just happy at the moment to go with what they've got, and it's likely that so Wiley is calling out Angelica. So Jimmy accepts. Milt and Travis join the party on his side, and Philip and Lucy join the party on Scott's side. So big shootout here to start. And Wiley is going to pistol whip Milt. I think that's the right choice there, because Angelica, obviously, she can come back again with her shootout ability, whereas Milt, he's very much stuck here. I can't see, there's a kidnapping in Jimmy's hand there. Looks like a deed. Can't see much else. So fast on the draw against Wiley. So he is now 0 stud. 1 stud against Angelica's 3 stud. And sorry, he also used the pistol whip, so he's on 0 stud actually now. Although I very much doubt that Scott will use Wiley as the main shooter anymore. Then he'll get, obviously, if you use Philip, he'll get the 1 draw from Philip. Sun your eyes on Angelica, so she's now down to 1 draw and 2 draw for Travis. So both players now playing with very small shootout hands. Jimmy there looks like he's got a shotgun. I can't quite see what else he's got in his hand there. I can't also see what's in Scott's hand. Yeah, it's shuffling them a lot, so making it quite difficult. It's currently Jimmy's shootout action. I can't see him having any more there, because I think one of those is a kidnapping. Presumably he's going to try and kidnap Lucy at some point, being high influence. But I think Jimmy probably be happy here. It's pistol whipping home Philip. So obviously that's going to prevent Philip from being the casualty. Because I can't imagine Scott will want to choose Lucy or Wiley as the first casualty if they do equal. So it's 1 stud for Scott against 3 draw for Jimmy. Jimmy's got a joker though, so that's going to bode well for this shootout. Scott also has a joker though, so both players likely to have reasonable hands here. I expect full house from both. Both running strong 3x16 decks, I think, or at least strong 3 value decks. Scott just looking cheating full house versus cheating 4 of a kind. So Scott's down by 1. Not sure. He loses Lucy there. I can't imagine him going to want to Wiley, because Wiley's obviously going to provide a main shooter. A pistol whipping and a sun your eyes in the shooter. Oh, another pistol whip. So Jimmy's lost a lot of his good shootout actions that he's going to have to cycle through the deck to get to. But Scott does go home, and so does Jimmy after the shootout. Because obviously that's going to allow Angelica to join a Destination Row job if Makayo or Jake wants to run it. Although at the moment Scott has no one to oppose it with. Jimmy moves Makayo's bounty so that Jimmy gains Ghost Rocks, obviously Milt gaining a bounty. Jake doing Destination Row job. He is unopposed, so gains another money. 2 bounty on Jake. That's going to improve Wiley in future shootouts. Scott looks like he might play a deed here now. There's only Macao to go and take it. Shotgun on Macao. I think that's just to cycle Jimmy's hand. Although it now does stop Philip from joining the posse. Because I imagine next turn he'll give it to Angelica. Both players pass, so no deeds on either side at the moment, and possibly a choice from Scott there not to do it, because obviously if he plays a deed, Macao can just go and take it and deny him the income and give him put Jimmy closer to winning. So it's just a pair from Scott, and it's already a pair from Jimmy, 2 pair. So Scott's going to win that low ball again. So Scott 2 low ball wins here in a row. Jimmy's a bit starved for cash at the moment. Obviously, in the first turn, Milt and Angelica both not being able to run the Destination Row job prevents him from getting too much money. Obviously, he wants to run with Milt because obviously that's a 3 Ghost Rock, 2 for the bounty, plus 1 for Milt gaining a bounty. Shotgun gets transferred to Milt. Probably I would have. No, sorry, we're just going to Scott's action first. I think Jimmy just jumped the gun there, but I would have thought it would to Angelica here, in that Angelica has the option to join the posse, especially with Scott being low ball winner. That first turn you can just pistol whip home Milt. The evidence onto Wiley. Don't see that being used very much here defensively in terms of reducing people's bounties until much later in the game when Jimmy's a lot closer to winning. Macao moves bounty to Macao, and then the shotgun to Milt. So I prefer Angelica just because she's got the greater manoeuvrability. If you're winning low ball, you pistol whips home Milt, he's still then safe with Philip in the party, whereas Angelica can come back and thing. Wiley going to the town square. Pearl handed onto Travis. It's the first time we've seen Travis gain a pearl handed revolver, but he's now also a 2 stud, so lots of strong bullets for Jimmy. Scott moving forward into town square of Andrew as well. It's an aggressive play here because he's got no deeds that he needs to protect, and he wants to try and stop Destin Rose job. But in the game where they faced off in the Swiss rounds, I mean, Scott lost very quickly to Jimmy's strong shootout actions. He knows he's playing a lot of Sun in Your Eyes, pistol whip, the pinto and the kidnapping as well for the manoeuvrability. So I'm not sure he wants to be aggressive. Milt to the town square. I mean, I assume if Scott doesn't call out Milt here, that Milt's going to call out Andrew. So obviously you can just shotgun him and kill him, and then he's got a later opportunity to go after Wiley. So the evidence to remove the bounty from Milt. Interesting. Possibly there just to stop him from running the Destination Row job. Milt, but Wiley has called out someone with. Well, I presume Milt has called out Wiley. I would have thought if Milt has called out Andrew. So it's just Wiley unprepared on Milt. So he gets booted. He loses the shotgun's bullets, so he's down to 1 stud there. But he's still got 2 stud shooters on Jimmy's side. So it's going to be 2 stud for Scott and 4 stud for Jimmy. And this is where I was surprised in the evidence play, because if he had left the evidence, that's an extra stud bullet for Wiley. I mean, and if he kills Milt, I can't see Milt dying here. I mean, Travis is going to be the first to go, then Angelica, I suspect. So it's unlikely, unless he had a very, very strong shootout hand, that he would get Milt with it. But I don't know, maybe Andrew is in this posse because he's just drawn there, Scott. So maybe it is both, and I expect Andrew then will be the first casualty. But I mean, Jimmy likely to have a full house at least, maybe even a legal 4 of a kind. He may cheat here. I've not seen any cheating punishment on either side at the moment. And that's Jimmy's changing up his draw hand. So cheating full house for Scott versus legal full house for Jimmy. It's a coach whip on Andrew. So it must have been just Andrew in the posse, I think. Milk calling out Andrew, which does now give Scott the opportunity to call out someone here, in that he is now likely to be. Jimmy's not going to have very many shootout cards, but he's still obviously going to be 4 or 5 stud unless Scott is packing a lot of shootout plays. Hustings, so that's reducing the influence on his dudes at home. But I mean, still Mackay is available for Jimmy with Angelica in the town square. Use that to back up if Philip tries to contest. So I think Jimmy here if he wants. It's a kidnapping on Wiley, so that's everyone's going for that. Well, Wiley's going to be. Oh no, so they're very good. Must be a stone in your eyes here for Wiley, because now Wiley's up to 7 stud. Yeah, very much. But then equal on hands here will will obviously get rid of Wiley. It's 10 and 3 redraws for Jimmy versus 12 cards for Scott. He's really got to hope for the Joker and a 5 of a kind here, I think. Anything less, and I can see Jimmy getting the kill on Wiley. Although saying that, Jimmy probably can cheat here. I mean, 1 card in Scott's hand, maybe a coach whip, but even a coach whip, okay, you lose Milked, but then you're then going to lose Travis in the shootout of 5 of a kind, and if you draw, so you still get Angelica for running the Destination Road job. So although that may, if Jimmy had seen that may have changed his mind, but both cheating 5 of a kind. Coach whip from Jimmy. That's Wiley gone. So they all go home booted after the kidnapping job, and Jimmy now in a very strong position. 1 influence for Scott versus no control points for Jimmy, but Jimmy sitting on the moment at a fair amount of influence. Charlie's place over on Scott's side, 2 control points, 1 influence, but I think it's versus 1, 2, 3, 4 influence for Jimmy, so he's alright. But the next turn, I think Scott, unless he can draw a lot of dudes here, is going to be in trouble. He's going to get a lot of income. He's not basically going to get 7 income, which conceivably could play 2 dudes if he's got some cheap dudes. So he looks like he's running 3 5s and 7s. So there might be a Tommy in there. We have scenes Andreas on the 5, 8. So he's probably maybe got some Stephen Wiles, which could help him for the turn. I mean, at the moment he can afford Stephen Wiles each turn, so he may go for that. Jimmy's still got all his dudes booted, but should unboot them at the start of the turn. And he's got a lot of options here, Jimmy, because he could run the Destination Road job probably on Angelica. So he'll transfer a bounty from Jake to Angelica, then run the Destination Road job with Angelica. It's 2 pair for Scott versus 3 of a kind for Jimmy, so Scott's going to win that. He borrowed the 1. And yes, because Angelica doesn't have any influence, she is not going to be able to take over a deed, whereas moving the bounty over to Angelica, she can milk. Well, actually, or even Travis, actually, because Travis could also run the Destination Road job, and then we'll get 2 bounty. He'll get 2 bounty after being moved. So here's Stephen Wiles, by the looks of it. No evidence on Scott, so that's going to prevent Destination Road job from getting any control points and put him Scott in too much trouble. So, but still, the 2. It's still going to be troublesome for Scott, because with the 2 dudes, obviously, Philip's going to have to go and defend one of them. and then Milt and Macao at one or Jake at the other with Angelica in the town square can easily defend. But Milt ran the Destination Road job. Bit surprised by this. I would have thought Travis would be the better option. Maybe Jimmy feels he needs the extra 1 money. He is a bit short of money at the moment. He doesn't have any deeds, give him extra production, and maybe that getting up to 4 money will allow him to play. It looks like he's got a Blake Ranch in his hand there, which will help Jimmy in future turns if he can't win this turn. Back to Scott. He's not played any dudes yet, but now it's unlikely Jimmy is going to. There's Wendy. That's very much going to help Scott. Gives him an influence and can send anyone home who comes trying to contest his deeds. So, game not then quite over. Jimmy obviously still in a very strong position. He's not lost anyone yet. Scott's already down 3 dudes. Sorry, Lucy, Andrew, Burton, and Wiley. But it looks like another kidnapping in Jimmy's hand. Yeah, so there's a bounty over to Milt to give him a control point. So the 2 control points now on the table. There's the Blake Ranch, so Jimmy now can have a lot more money for future turns. Needs to cycle his hands. But a lot of shootout actions by the looks at the moment. He's running a Destination Road job. I mean, Scott is global winner again, so Wendy will get a chance to send someone home, and obviously if you can send Angelica home now and won't just be able to come straight back. So it's making it you'd have to really commit, and so you'd have to go probably with both Travis and Angelica and rely on the 2 stub bullets to draw an equal hand. So here goes Travis into town square. Wendy to town square. I could very conceivably see here Travis calling out Wendy, because that means Macao joins the party, for example, or Angelica, and then Angelica can come back if she gets booted. So, yeah, I'm not sure that was the right call to move Wendy to town square. Macao into town square. So I think Wendy is going to call out. Wendy could. Yeah, so Wendy calls out Macao. Obviously got an influence, which is going to put Scott closer to winning. She get rid of Macao. She accepts. It does look like a sun in your eyes in Jimmy's hand, though. So Wendy could be vulnerable. Both of them in Jimmy's posse. Just Wendy in Scott's posse. Wen sends home Travis, but I now imagine Angelica is going to join the posse. Sun your eyes on Wendy, so she's down to a 0 draw, so it's 5 cards for Scott versus 7 for Jimmy in a draw. We're just going to pause here because the players have been called away to make a ruling at the other table, but it's not looking a very good situation for Scott again. With Wendy now being 0 draw, he's going to lose there, and obviously with Macao in the town square, she can go and take a deed, although Jake Smiley only as well able to take a deed, and the evidence can stop Milt from winning this turn, but then next turn I think Scott's really in trouble, so I can't see a way for Jimmy to end the game this turn, but next turn he's certainly going to be in a much stronger position if he wins this shootout, or even gets a draw. I mean, here very likely to see Angelica. Actually, no. I'd say here if they draw, I think Jimmy would lose Macao, because actually no, I think he would have to lose Angelica. Because losing Macao would mean he wouldn't be able to get the control point, even though Angelica is going to give him the best way of winning the game. and because but then he could just try and shuffle Philip around. So if Mikhail goes into one of those deeds, presumably into I imagine into Hustings. So Mikhail would go into Hustings. Philip would then have to move to Hustings. Then so Mikhail can move over to Charlie's place and get the bullet increase if Philip wants to come over, or things. So cheating full house versus cheating for a kind. Scott needs a cheating resolution here, really. No cheating resolution. So that's Wendy down. And Scott's been unlucky there, really. He's had two very close hands. He does look like to have a Stephen Wiles in hand, though. I think. Can't quite tell. It looks like the alternate version, which it makes it a bit hard to see. Jimmy's action kidnapping on Philip. So it's Angelica and Mikhail. So no chance for the evidence to get used on Milt. Shotguns Philip. So that goes. So now Jimmy technically has got Scott in check. One. It's got to be a Stephen Wiles, surely. Yep, there's Stephen Wiles, and he is going to be able to hang around. So with 7 upkeep, 7 income. There's a pistol whip in Jimmy's hand. Stephen to the town square. Jimmy to try and oppose any Destination Road job from next turn. And so yes, both players pass. We go to another day. And at the moment, Stephen Wiles is really going to be Scott's saviour here, because Jimmy at the moment only can get a maximum of 3 control points unless he runs until the Destination Road job. Presumably he's going to want to. I think you have to run that on Travis, because obviously Travis can't take control of a deed. Move one from likely Angelica, who could then next turn also get the thing. Cheating full house for Scott versus straight for Jimmy, but that's still going to be Jimmy winning. So Jimmy wins low ball for the first time, and that could be very, very useful. So Scott not making any money, though. That's going to be the only problem, because he needs low ball wins to make money at the moment, because he's borrowed the one to pay for that. So Jimmy's go first, and he's got any pistol whips here. It's going to be game. He runs Destination Road job, and if yeah, so 1 control point on Jimmy. Jimmy just working out his money, but yeah, any pistol whip. I think Scott here, if he wants to stay, he's gonna have to just give up opposing Destination Road jobs until he gets the 4th one for Jimmy, or he would get his 4 control points. I mean, so Angelica, Travis to town square. Stephen calls out Travis. He's going to accept a pistol whip. Yeah, and that is going to be game, I think, because Travis now can't lead. Oh no, because now Angelica can lead the Destination Road job. Ulysses Mark, he's going to move to a saloon, which is going to be Charlie's place. He's worth 2 control points. So that's 3 control points for Jimmy. And a Destination Road job from Angelica is going to end this. No money on the table for Scott. Milt to Hustings, and that's game. So Jimmy advances to the final. Thanks everyone for watching. I've ended the video too soon again, so I'll try and remember that for future tournaments. Thanks for watching, and I'll check you again soon.